So we moved out to the desert. We used to live in the mountains. I had all my stuff in boxes for such a long time. If you remember, hi Max. If you remember, I was doing a Star Trek Into Darkness Enterprise build, but I lost a part to it, and I can't do it without that part. So anyway, I built a model building station just out of some leftover wood that I had. It only took 2 hours to build. It was pretty neat. It came out pretty neat anyway. So anyway, there's my Into Darkness box. Complete station. Got an overhead camera and a couple other cameras that I use. Yeah, not happy that I lost that part. It's the bridge. So, I don't know where it went. So anyway, record scratch. I decided to do the U.S.S. Discovery. It came at a low price. I'm like, wow, that looks really nice. So I decided to do this one next. Unboxing here. So, like anything else, any other model, before you start building, you have to wash all the pieces. There's oil on it, and that interferes with the paint. You don't want that to happen. So, I'm gonna promise I'm not gonna show you every time I clip a piece off the mold like I did in my previous videos. I think just that one will do. You assume that I do it. And I'm also not going to show you every time I trim a piece off of a part. I'll just begin this one. Promise, no filing. Just this once. How does this go together? Pretty simple. Also not going to show you every time I glue a part together. Just this one. Just this one. Okay, these two pieces go together pretty good. Alright, that's the first piece. Oh, wait a minute, it's a little bit off. With these pieces, you have to snap pretty tight. I was worried I was going to bend the little knobs on it. But I didn't bend one, surprisingly. Some parts I had to figure out how they go together. I've already inspected all the parts and I trimmed everything, so I'm not going to show you every time I do that. So working on the nacelles here. There were some clear parts. Okay, I lied about the glue. Forgot about this one. So one of my cameras started glitching, the side view camera. Sorry about that. I'm gonna look for a different camera for the side view. So with the nacelles and a couple other parts, I used clamps to hold it still, let it dry for a couple hours. Some pieces I dried overnight, and I think it took me 3 days for this whole build. It was pretty amazing. It came out pretty good. You'll see. So the nacelles are almost done here. I had to snap these a little harder than I thought I would have to. I was surprised. A lot of the pieces, you really had to use some force. Got the bridge pieces here. Had some clear plastic parts. Some more glue here for you. The lower half. One good thing about having to use so much force is you knew it was in. You could probably put this whole thing together without any glue, but I don't see it on the box where it says that. Snap. All right, half done. Putting it together. Here's that clamp. Here's the main body. Some more clear pieces. Usually I paint the inside of the color piece. I just painted these pieces later. I painted them all blue, so they could have used just regular mold pieces for these parts. I didn't paint the bridge clear plastic. I just left it clear. Pretty easy construction. So I had already put the gun in. I had to use tweezers, it's so tiny. There's that glitch. There's the spore drive. I don't know. I don't know what part of the ship is what. The spore drive? It could be that. Or is it in the nacelles? I don't know. But it's a pretty good show, don't you think? I like the character Saru, played by Doug Jones. Doug Jones plays a lot of good parts. Creatures, mostly. Alright, I used all my clips, my clamps. I use what I have. If I don't, then I'll use tape. Almost complete with the construction. I think I let that dry overnight for a couple hours. It's only 4 days ago, but alright, nacelles are next. Or nacelles, however you want to pronounce it. I call it nacelles. Time to put it on the base, see how she flies. Everything together, everything nice and tight. So I mask the bridge because it's not going to be the color that I'm going to paint the whole ship. I used gunmetal color by Model Air. Yep, it was gunmetal gray. So I sped up the painting because it took like an hour to do the whole thing. I cut a lot of time out. Airbrushing, if you can move kind of fast, you have to. I watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to do it correctly. I don't have to clean the paintbrush every time I use it. I just do a quick clean. If you know how to prime it and keep the needle clean as you work, you can keep it in good working order. This is my second airbrush. My first one, I accidentally bent the needle. On this one, I changed the tip and I borrowed a needle from another gun. So this one's been my workhorse. I have another airbrush that I use for art, but I haven't really found the time to do the art yet. So far, I'm just trying to get my routines down. New house, our lives were disrupted, you know, in the move. I finally got everything out of the boxes. I put insulation on the inside of this working space so that I don't freeze or burn up in the summertime, freeze in the winter. This took a couple hours. I would put a coat on and leave for a little while and come back. I did the bottom laying down on its back so that I could put it on the base to do the top side. Meticulous, but fun. And it's self-learning. When you screw up, you know why you screwed up. You can't spend too much time on one spot, obviously. But I don't like to paint vertically. I like to paint horizontally on a plane. That way there's less of a chance that it's gonna run. Alright, I think the bottom side's done. Oop. Now, I started using model color by Viejo, and it's brass. It's a metallic. The other was model color. It wasn't model air. It was Viejo gunmetal gray, and the other one's Viejo brass. So there was no painting instructions in the instructions itself, so I just looked at the box and I found colors that were close to what was represented on the box. So I did my best in replicating that. I used a little tiny brush. So it's actually starting to look like the U.S.S. Discovery. I posted a picture of this on Twitter, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's great, blah blah blah," and I'm like, this is not even half of what it's gonna look like. Just wait. So after I painted, let it dry overnight, I covered it with a clear gloss, and this helps lock the paint in, and also it helps when you're putting the decals on. It helps the decals slide, and it has a good surface for it to adhere to. And the sliding is really important when you're putting decals on, because if you're not exactly straight, you're gonna need to move it. And I had to do that a few times. Okay, yeah, I'm also not going to show you every time I cut a decal. I did film it. I'm also not going to show you every time I put a decal on. Maybe this one. Maybe a couple more. Meticulous. And it's starting to look like it. You see the oh, there's that glitch again. All right, look at it, so pretty. There is like 300 decals I had to put on there. Took a long time. All day. Some mistakes. They were not all on straight. And I actually got 2 sets of the decals on in the wrong order. But it's hard to tell. Painted the base so that it's not that weird color that it came in. Painted it black, obviously. I don't care if I get a paint on my pedestal. It doesn't matter. So I made sure all the gloss was on there. Both sides. I put more gloss on it over the decals because I'm getting ready to ink wash it. I ink wash so the panel lines pop and some of the other lines are easier to see. It makes it look more realistic. Things out in space don't stay too clean, getting hit by rocks and age, extreme temperatures, battles. Going through time. So I didn't film all of it, just the important part. So you put an acrylic covering and then you ink wash and then you use testers. I use testers and Rust-Oleum to clean it off. It's enamel thinner, so the ink is enamel based. So if you use acrylic and then ink wash over that and then use an enamel cleaner, it's not gonna wash off your acrylic. If you use spirits, if you use paint thinner on enamel, it would take the enamel right off. You don't want that. So acrylic gloss, enamel thinner to wash off the ink. And then once you get the ink wash off where you want it, where you don't want it to be, then you would cover it again with another acrylic clear gloss. But in my case, I used a clear matte color. That makes it look a little more realistic in the end because the light doesn't reflect right off of it and it looks like a real starship to me. So pretty. She turned out real nice. My next video, I'll be doing a 66 Nova. But I like to bask in the glory of this one. It took a long time, a lot of effort. And I'm still working at it. It went from this is how it started. This is how she ended up. Thanks for watching, everybody.